You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin. Today we are listening to Pretty Things with the first two tracks off of their album. Hold on, I have the wrong album up. With the first two tracks off of their album SF Sorrow, which was released in 1968. Those two tracks would be SF Sorrow is Born and Bracelets of Fingers. We, or should I say I, but in a sense we, were gifted the actual record here. And this is some really attractive artwork in my opinion. Like, that gets my attention immediately. That is some artwork that you can dissect. You can analyze a little bit. You have someone, I don't even know. So I figured let's go ahead and take the first two tracks here off of the album, give it a listen, give it a little bit of a spin, and we'll go from there. So hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you as always for being here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Why not? Gotta unlock my phone really quick and hold on. I got the wrong album up. See, I told you. Sometimes JP comes, but he's not ready. All right, here we go. So this is the Pretty Things, who I've never heard of before right now, or when we got the record, with SF Sorrow is Born and Bracelets of Fingers. Let's see what they're all about.
Behind the windows or a Christmas tree. Then a couple from up north, Sorrow and his wife arrived. Before the sun had left the streets, they were living inside. Then before too long, the street it rang with a sound. Number 3, there came the cry, SF Sorrow is born. SF Sorrow is born. SF Sorrow is born. SF Sorrow, SF Sorrow, SF Sorrow is born. Days were spent in the grey of his mind as he stole love with the tongue of lies. The world is shrank in size. SF Sorrow is born. SF Sorrow is born. SF Sorrow, SF Sorrow, SF Sorrow is born. out their arms, I must wait a while. Bending my mind as I pick up the flowers in May. Hearing the laughter that turns into tears every day. Fly to the moon at the curve of a spoon, I turn upside down. Tumbling through leaves as I scatter the seeds on an eider down. Love, 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 land of love. Fly to the moon and I'll get there quite soon if I wait a while. Daylight arrives with the turn of the skies, I must wait a while. Clouds building castles, the wind comes and blows them away. Tears in the water make circles for me as I play. Fly to the moon on the curve of a spoon, I turn upside down. Tumbling through leaves as I scatter the seeds on an eider down. Love, 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 land of love.
Okay, I can tell you immediately this is an album that I could get swept up into. Did you guys like that? I thought that was awesome. Like, I could easily draw like comparisons to sure the Beatles, right? Like, it has that sound, but there's something unique about it. I can't quite put my finger on it just quite yet, but this was really, really good. Like, I really want to know what you guys thought, because these two tracks, they hit. There's no, it's 100% accuracy on these. Singing, let's start with that, sure. The singing is by Phil May. And what I like about his singing is that he has kind of the same cadence as, like, you know, the singers from the Beatles, sure. But he sings with a certain purpose. There's something about his voice and his directness that he sings with, like, a certain kind of purpose in his voice. And I love that. I love the way that these two tracks, like, started building up on each other. You get little flourishes of something unique, like in Bracelets of Fingers, like the way the drums would roll and those harmonies would rise. And that was, like, really cool. Also interesting is the production, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, like, in the first track, the guitars were on my right side, the vocals were on my left, and I think there may have been, like, some sort of keyboard work or something in the middle. There was some sound, like an ambience in the middle. So the whole thing had this really psychedelic kind of surrounding effect on me. Like, these were two really, really cool tracks. I'm actually really curious to hear what you guys think about this. Let's move back to Star Was Born. Actually, the guitar is really nice. It's kind of like a rock folky kind of sound it has. So I was trying to follow, like, the lyrics here, right? And then I just kind of grabbed the record and I was looking at it and kind of reading them here. I figured I got the record or the lyrics, you know, I might as well read them right here. So there's actually a story going on here on the album. And one thing that's really cool, you guys probably can't see, because the words are kind of tiny on here. But yeah, it has the lyrics, of course, to every song here. But then in between, you have, like, little synopsis breaks in here that kind of explain the story to a certain point. So that's actually really cool. We'll talk about that as we get into the lyrics there. But let's pull See how he has kind of like a little purpose in his voice. And then you have little of like I think trumpet was in there. I think there were horns at some point. Maybe not. I don't know. It must be. It says wind instruments. I don't know. I know it's brass. I know, but you definitely have organs, sitar, mellotron. Like this is something you could chew on. Listen to the mellotron right there. And see, for me, mellotron is center, bass and drums are kind of on my right, and then guitar is here on my left. And then voice or vocals are on the left too. So it's just really cool the way it's all separated. It took me a second to get used to. At first I thought maybe something was not plugged in correctly, but everything seems to be going okay over here on my end. So I like that. You know, yeah, it takes me a second or two to kind of fill my mind to that kind of effect. But once you kind of get into it, the water is warm and the water is good. But moving into Bracelets of Fingers, isn't this a little bit Queenie? It kind of reminded me of Queen a little bit, and I know Queen came after, but that's really cool. I wonder if Queen ever heard of Pretty Things. They gotta love the play-like way, theatrical-like way they come in with the vocals here, setting you up. And you pull up a little bit. Where are we going from here? That's always the question with things like this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love the drumming there. Just rocking it there on the snare. The swing of their vocals definitely has a Beatles cadence. Like I said, I don't know if that, I don't think that could be denied. But, I mean, I think that they do very well on their own from the little bit, very little bit, that I've heard thus far. Just the string arrangement in this part. The other percussion and ambience going on the sides. Still maintaining that production I mentioned before with the space. This feels like a very beautiful meditation, and that sound effect, love that, and popping right back into it. This is good. I don't know if you guys know this. Like, I know you guys come here to see what I think of songs, but in a way, I come here so I really want to know what you guys think of the songs all the time. But sometimes there's a track or two that just gets my attention so much that I really, really want to know. So, like, if you never comment, this one time, do me a favor, just comment really quick and let me know, because I love this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me pull up the lyrics once again. I guess I could have just grabbed. Yeah, let's grab this. Why not? Right? It's right here. So the first track, SF Sorrow is Born. Hold on, let me make sure the microphone isn't blocked when I say this. Okay, so before we even get into the lyrics, there is a little, not prequel, prologue for the story here. It says, the small town was just under 8 miles from everywhere. The gray brickwork soaked up the white sun. The factory of misery lay in the center. It had been a boom year. From its tall chimneys, the factory puffed out large black clouds of its importance that floated above the town. The boom continued. Each morning, the workers were sucked from their houses that stood like rows of decaying teeth and the long necklaces that were hung around the throats of nearby hills. A new day. It was such a day that a young couple arrived from up north. They moved into number 3. The Sorrows, that was their name, soon settled to the ways of the town. Meanwhile, the boom continued. Sometime later, during a night when there wasn't a star to be seen, Miss Sorrow gave birth to a boy. So, hey, let's just start a reading channel. Why not, right? So, there's evidently a story, and of course, the title of the first track is SF Sorrow is Born. You ever talk to people on the phone and, like, they say S and you think they hear, or you hear F, and then it's one of those letters. The lyrics, which I'm not going to read all of them because we just kind of read what the lyrics are about. But here it says, for 10 weeks now, number 3 stood empty. That would be the, where the people were living. Nobody thought there would be family laughter behind the windows or a Christmas tree. Then a couple from up north, Sorrow and his wife, arrived before the sun had left the streets. They were living inside. So, interestingly enough, of course, is their name being Sorrow, and Sorrow arrived to this town that was experiencing a boom. A little bit of an on-the-nose metaphor, but it works. And then it talks about, SF Sorrow, the actual sun, says the sunlight of his days was spent in the gray of his mind, and he stole love with a tongue of lies. Then, there's another story blurb before we get into Bracelet of Fingers. Hope you guys don't mind me talking a lot, by the way. I'm going to read this. The Sorrows named him Sebastian F., although nobody knew what the F stood for. Well, maybe it means factory, since that's where he's working. and nobody really cared. Throughout his childhood, his imagination whispered strange thoughts to his mind. In this common exchange most children experience, at night he dreamt of the moon. And then the lyrics for Bracelets of Fingers. Interesting name, Bracelets of Fingers. You have bracelets around your wrist, so it's like someone holding your wrist. Love. These are a few of the things I find joy. Bracelets of fingers since I was a boy. Fly to the moon and I'll get there quite soon if I can wait a while, or if I wait a while. Cradled in branches that stretch out their arms, I must wait a while, bending my mind as I pick up the flowers in May, hearing the laughter that turns into tears every day. Fly to the moon on the curve of a spoon, I turn upside down, tumbling through leaves as I scatter the seeds on an eiderdown, which is a pillow, a type of pillow. Fly to the moon and I'll get there quite soon if I wait a while. Daylight arrives with the turn of the skies, I must wait a while. Clouds building castles, the wind comes and blows them away. Tears in the water make circles for me as I play. Fly to the moon on the curve of a spoon. We saw that, or read that already. And then it says at the end of that, in connection to the next track, when he became old enough, he joined his father working at the factory of misery. Are you guys getting bored with me reading this? I'm curious about this. But the work was being cut, and the older men stood off. They all said the boom was over, and it was. Sorrow's imagination stopped its whispering, for his mind had long since stopped listening. While most of his being fell into disuse, his heart took flight. He fell in love with the girl next door, which leads into the track She Says Good Morning. This is good! I like this! Do you guys like this? Are you curious about this? Because I'm kind of curious about this. Yeah, so he is the son of sorrow. And it talks about basically like his days of sunlight are turned to gray. Of course, the boom ends at the factory. Funnily how that happens when the Sorrow family moves in. And I'm assuming there's some more other hijinks going on in there as you move further into it. But let me know what you guys thought. I really enjoyed these two tracks. I would love to hear your comments or read your comments. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day from here on. You can follow me on Twitter, join me in the comments, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Come back tomorrow. You never know what we got going on. Got something. Don't know what, but we got something. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you then. Bye.